Where is everybody? We are going live and we have only Miss Amy,
I've
Mr.
in,
Alberto.
I've invited Blair. I told him. He said
Yeah,
okay.
so he spoke to me earlier. He said, do you want me to come and join the discussion? I said, no, because otherwise we're going to hear, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. We don't want the explanations and the justifications and the apologies and everything. You just can sit down and participate in the live, but from the YouTube perspective. We are going live. And we have only Amy.
I've invited Blair. I told him. He said
okay. All right. So, okay, here comes Petra. Lordy, lordy. Okay, let's go. It's 3:30. Welcome to the next episode of the not the She Means Business. Shut up. Do it again. Welcome to the next episode of the Supersized Media Marketing Critique. And today we have the fabulous Alberto, the amazing Amy, the gorgeous Emily, and the delicious Petra. Delicious? It's more like food, but that's okay. And we're going to be here talking about Net-a-Porter and Amaazin.Scot. So the whole premise is every single week we get together and we're looking at one of the big, large brands, whether it's a big, large UK brand or a big, large international brand. We look at what they're doing, what they could be doing better, what they're doing like amazingly, and then we can look at examples of what that means for small businesses. And then we look at a local Edinburgh type of brand or Scotland type of brand. And then we look at what they're doing great and what they could be improving on as well. And each single week we have a different theme. So whether it's beauty or jewelry or food, and this week it's retail, obviously, because Net-a-Porter is an international global fashion brand selling all kinds of different fashion items, from bags to jewelry and trousers and underwear and everything like that in between. So let's get cracking with this story. So we're going to be covering everything that they're doing on the online space, looking at their website, looking at their Facebook in detail, how they're handling Instagram and everything, and then helping you as a small business understand in the retail sector what you need to be doing for the future, especially what are the lessons coming out of lockdown, because the future is going to look a lot more different from the past. For example, a lot more businesses in the physical world are going to have to be paying much more attention to safety. So therefore, they're going to have more staff around, and yet much less space to be bringing customers in there. So there's all these kinds of new dynamics that are going to be happening in the physical world. But fortunately, we only live in the online world. So that's where we're going to be focusing all of our attention today. Okay, so first off, let's get a quick look at Net-a-Porter. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what we're looking at as we're going through the whole process. Okay, so any thoughts? Sorry, I'll shut up my bloody phone at the same time. So anybody got any first thoughts on how the Net-a-Porter brand is doing online in terms of overall look and feel, how they're doing with the website, what kind of level of traffic do they have, where it's all coming from, what's the kind of target audience they're dealing with, and all that kind of stuff. And we're only going to be here for the next 25 minutes or so we're going to make it as snappy as possible. Anybody want to jump in?
So I think the first place where we need to start is we need to point out that Net-a-Porter has a magazine called Porter as well, which is technically a separate brand, although they intertwine them on their website, but it's like a paying magazine, and it's meant to be like a sort of alternative to Vogue is the whole sort of idea. But I think the website, it looks really good. I think they've made quite a unusual stand by having Bottega Veneta as the featured brand, because they're currently under fire because they've been having in Berlin, they've been hosting parties in a warehouse on the brand name in Berghain, which is like one of Europe's biggest clubs. They've kept it open and they've been having parties and fashion shows for the past week. So I think putting them as the featured brand is quite a bold move, especially as they're already causing controversy because they're charging $2,000 for telephone cords, which they're saying are chokers. So yeah, it's a very bold move. They are a brand of the moment, but maybe for the wrong reasons. But I understand why they've done that. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so as people say in marketing, there's no bad news. There's only news. And if you can't get the attention through positive means, then all kinds of other means are also fair game in the war for attention. Any other thoughts on the whole process with the Net-a-Porter?
The first thing I noticed with their website is they have a automatic pop-up as soon as you enter the website for 10% off new customers. So I've never shopped with Net-a-Porter before, but that would definitely keep me in the website for longer, and I'd check out a lot more pages to see if it was something that I was interested in taking up.
And question, did you actually sign up for the pop-up?
No, I didn't.
Fair enough. That's all right. So what are we thinking in terms of traffic and then the buyer persona? Alberto, your mouth is moving, but I'm not hearing anything.
Yes, sorry, I got lost in all the windows open. I had a look at the traffic for the website, and they've got 7.44 million visits, and they recently had an increase in visits. So I guess it's because of the good season coming and people need new outfits, and I also guess there are new collection being released almost on a daily basis. And their average visit, they got 3.22 pages. So again, that's the time, 3 minutes, 22 seconds is the average visit. And then people click around 4.7 pages per visit. And that results in a 52.75% of bounce rate, which is an okay result for an e-commerce platform. It should be, I've looked and it said between 40 to 55% is still an acceptable result. So that falls into the range. And then in terms of traffic from different countries, their main market is the US, followed by UK, Australia, Germany, and France. And we'll see later that the ads that they use on social media are mainly in those languages. And then what I found interesting is the destination site, so where people go after visiting Net-a-Porter website. And the top website that people will go to is PayPal. So meaning that they're actually buying something. And recently there was like a big rise in terms of numbers of people going to PayPal. And then the second one is the DHL shipping company. So again, another clear sign that people are probably buying from the website if they're checking the DHL one. And then followed by Pinterest, which is a big channel for them to attract customers. And then Google Mail, which is, again, a strong sign that maybe people subscribe to their newsletter once they log in for the first time to get that 10% off a big purchase. So it was really interesting to look at that. And the 59% of the searches comes from organic, while 41% is actually paid. And I've tried myself. I I saw that they pay for the Veja, which is a shoe brand keyword, and I've actually tried and type it on Google, and they are the 4th result coming up. So I think it's working pretty well.
Yes, that's a really great point, because what's happening, having done a lot of research with other fashion clients that we have, is that when we do the research, every single brand is spending big money in this space, not just to make sure that their own brand gets found easily, but if they have lots of designers on their platform and those designers are not particularly competitive, i.e., they're still young and up and coming, and nobody of that brand is actually spending money on Google ads or Facebook ads to get them known, it means that these kinds of platforms like Net-a-Porter or these kind of retail environments can actually spend money on making sure that whenever somebody is searching for this young and up and coming designer, they're going to come straight to the retail shop of this network shop, Net-a-Porter, as opposed to going to that designer's own website. So this is a really, really crucial thing to understand in terms of retail. You're not just putting the budget behind your own designer, your own design, your own brand, your own kind of keywords, but you're putting money behind some of the products and services and artists that you're sponsoring basically on your platform. Good point. Awesome. Thank you. Anything else coming out before we move into their Facebook? And I'm struggling to find where their blooming Facebook link is. It's another website that wants to hide us from their social media experience, because, you know, if you look around all over the page, it probably means you're gonna have to go right down to the bottom to actually find the link. Nope, not even a whisper, not even a tiny glimpse of a social media link we can be looking at anywhere. So I'm just gonna have to do it the pedantic way, just dive in through Facebook and look for Net-a-Porter that way. Okay, so any final thoughts on their kind of website presence before we move into analyzing what they're doing on Facebook?
Well, I know that we might not have time to discuss this, so I'd like to shout out their YouTube channel is really good. They post loads of interesting content with a lot of big celebrities as well, and they clearly invest a lot of time and money in it. And one video they posted this week was over 150k views when I seen it. It was with the socialite Alexa Chung, and she was showing you how to style beer garden looks and I thought it was a very entertaining and very sort of clever way to show off the products, and it's a good influencer for them to work with, obviously, as well.
Yeah, so therefore, moving on to the influencer chat then, are they making good use of the influencers as part of their marketing mix?
They use a lot of models, like big names in the modeling industry and the fashion industry. Like I seen, they had a Dutakech, and they've done some work with Adoa Boa as well. And they're really using top fashion names, and it's fashion girls that they're using less so than, I suppose, some of them, like Alexa Chung and stuff, is like a big celebrity, but like it was a lot of high fashion girls, because that's clearly, I think, who they want to target. They're not going for like Only Ways Essex people or Love Island. They're wanting someone a bit more classy than that. No offense to those people, but
well, yeah, exactly. You need to make sure that you're targeting exactly the right people with the right type of influencers. You have influencers for the cheap brands, the middle of the road brands, the old person's brand, the teenagers brand, and then the super deluxe brands as well. So you need to make sure with everything that you're doing, the influencers, the images, the presentation, and everything, it matches exactly what that 1-star, 3-star, 5-star experience is going to be. Bravo. And then we can see fantastically that they are using the Facebook shop, which, in case people are not aware, is an incredible way for people to be having a look at a particular brand, checking out what that particular product is, looking at it more in detail, and then actually going and purchasing it either on the website, so the click through to the website if you're in Europe, or if you're in America, just clicking through and buying straight there in Facebook. At the moment, that's currently free. So anybody who's got any kind of retail environment should always be making sure they've got their Facebook or Instagram shop set up as well. So just clicking through some of their Facebook posts, I can see that pretty much all of them are taking people back to the website, which is a very good place to go. When retail brands want to be putting up all kinds of comment and chat and things like that, it's good to get the engagement, but ultimately everything to do with social media is about getting people to hand over emails or head over to the website. So you can see they're putting up lots of great blogs, great updates to send people over to the website, like 6 expert tips, tricks, and glute exercises for a better butt. Nice to see a bit of butt chat when we're talking on the YouTube. Would you say, guys, that the Instagram experience is mirroring the Facebook experience, or are we seeing something completely different?
In terms of frequency of posting, they're averaging out at 28 posts a week on Instagram. So it does appear that they are posting more on Instagram over Facebook.
Okay, cool.
And the type of content is also different from Instagram and Facebook. That's what I've noticed. Like Facebook, as you mentioned, is more blogging, tutorials, tips. They talk about diversity with some brand leaders. And while Instagram is more visual, as normally is.
Indeed, absolutely. But that's interesting that they've got a different strategy for each, but that's probably because they've got a bigger marketing team than most people. Normally you can find with these large brands that the marketing team is enormous. I'm just wondering if you've noticed any things that they could be improving, either on their website or their Facebook or their Instagram, seeing as we're looking here already.
Perhaps tagging the products, since they have a shop, and tagging the product in the actual image.
They're not doing that?
Not that I'm aware of. So see, for example, that yellow image with the sunglasses. I mean, that would be a good one to use a product tag, but they're not doing it.
Wow. Oh, they're missing a big trick there.
So they send you to the shop, but you just be sent to the shop and not to the shop page for these sunglasses. So then you will have to spend an extra 2 or 3 minutes to find them. So it's not really user friendly, I would say.
Yeah, so they basically haven't they haven't understood what the Facebook and the Instagram shop is for. So the whole idea is that when you've got it all set up properly, you should be able to put every single piece of content, every single product that you're putting up on your newsfeed should be tagged, which takes people straight to the sales page on Facebook, which should then take people straight through to either the website or the purchasing process on the Facebook. So yeah, that's a major issue that we have uncovered. I wonder if our other brand, Amaazin.Scot, will be able to demonstrate some leadership in this particular space. Ooh, let's find out in a couple of minutes when we start talking about them. Any other observations on how they could be improving their Instagram, Facebook, or website game?
Net-a-Porter are also on TikTok, but I noticed that one latest video got 3.3 million views, but there seems to be quite a disparity among their videos. Like they either get huge view counts or they get only in the thousands, and for such a huge brand, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency among the number of views.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Petra, you were going to say something there?
Oh, yeah, there was one thing that I noticed on Instagram, and is that the engagement rate is only 0.06%, which taking into account that it seems they spend a lot of time on creating the posts, because sometimes they post even 4 posts a day. I think it's not really, their audience doesn't really appreciate it, it seems.
Or they're not drawing their audience in, and they're not working on getting that engagement. Again, it's a common problem with companies that have been formed in the early stages of social media, and they haven't caught on to the fact that when you're on social media, if you want to get reach, visibility, you have to get the engagement. Therefore, you need to bring your audience in a lot closer with a whole bunch of different ways of putting your content together. Great point there, Petra. All right, zooming through here, I can notice that they're using the Instagram stories. So I imagine that they're using the Facebook stories as well. And there's a good dozen or so pieces of content going on there. Are they using music as well? I would imagine so. This one I'm quite curious about, because although they are using the highlights, it's just not very well branded. You know, you would imagine something a little bit more classy in terms of the cover images on here. At the moment, it just kind of looks a wee bit shoved together, if I could say it that way. So don't come after me when I say things like that. It's a point of view and opinion. You're free to disagree. But that would definitely be a lot of improvement with their Instagram. I can see that they're using Reels, which is fantastic, because obviously Reels gives you a lot of great reach out there. As you can see, all the numbers are looking good. 113,000, 221,000 consistently. They're using IGTV. They've not got any guides. Guides is the new thing on Instagram that's worth actually putting together, but that's fair enough. Guides are only a couple of months old, so we don't expect that from everybody, really. Haven't got one ourselves, obviously. All right, any last thoughts before we move on to Amaazin.Scot?
I just wanted to mention that they use Facebook ads, and they currently have 940 ads active throughout different countries. But as I mentioned before, they tend to target those markets where most of the research come from. So Germany, France, US, and the UK. The UK alone has about 65 ads active at the moment.
There you go.
So I just wanted
the
to
majority
mention that.
of their ads are either video based or they opt for a discount code.
Boom. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So anybody in the retail space, you need to understand that when you're using social media, it's not enough to just do it organic. You have to have some kind of ad strategy to make sure you're getting in front of that specific target that you're after. Otherwise, you're going to have to work your guts out trying to have an organic strategy that might get in front of the people you're trying to influence. Okay, any last thoughts before we move on to Amaazin.Scot, the local Scottish retail brand, online brand? We all good? All good. All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, let's move on to Net-a-Porter. And we have to be totally honest on this one. This is one of Supersize Media's clients. So we're hoping to show leadership in how these things can be done. But obviously, we're always open to suggestions and things that we could be doing a lot better in order to help this particular client, Amaazin.Scot. So the principle behind Amaazin.Scot is that they're looking to be able to sell products made and created and sold and serviced in Scotland in order to keep the profits and the jobs in this country, so that we've got that local experience, buying local, which cuts out a lot of the environmental problems of shipping and things coming from all overseas. And as the title might reveal, it's Scotland's answer to Amazon. And you can buy a whole bunch of products in there. Holiday products, really? Women, you can't buy women's clothes. Home and interior gifts, drinks, jewelry, accessory. And they're always looking for new products that they can be supplying on their busy website. So first things first, any kind of criticisms or suggestions on what could be done to improve the website experience?
Well, the first thing I noticed was the holiday bit was where all the Christmas stuff was, and further down it is called Christmas, which, you know, in April isn't really my main priority. I looked on the website in other places and it was still called Christmas, and see a lot of the products are products they've had on the website for a long time here. So I think it is the Christmas section, but just a wee bit hidden. So I would maybe take that off.
Yeah, or rename it Easter. That would be a good, easy chat. Oh, and we've got Blair Wycherley in the house on our YouTube live, giving us a big hello, and he's listening to everything, and he's got his pen and paper out, and he's saying, good summary of Net-a-Porter. Brilliant. All right, so, but don't be gentle. Blair wants to hear it, total honesty as well. Go ahead.
My biggest point of feedback would probably just be to improve upon the user navigation. When it comes to sorting through products on the website, it's the option to sort, say, from low to high price isn't currently working. So obviously we just see the default, and we might miss out on products that interest us because we might not afford them, or just because we can't see what products are the most popular at that time.
Sure, fair enough. And then they've got a good sales section. It seems to be easy to load and everything. And here's where they're so strong, showing massive leadership compared to Net-a-Porter. They've got their blooming social media icons really easy to find up at the top, and I would imagine also down at the bottom of the website as well, perhaps. Maybe not. Oh well, at least it's up at the top, which is the main part anyway. Fantastic. All right, any other thoughts on the website before we move swiftly? We've only got a couple of minutes left before we're wrapping up. So quick observations on Facebook and Instagram.
Going back to the website quickly, I noticed that 100% of the traffic comes from mobile and there's no desktop traffic.
Ooh, interesting. Oops, I'm an admin now, so you can actually see some of the admin elements going into this experience here. So I'll move swiftly over to their Instagram, and hopefully we're not going to see some of the back end stuff being revealed just because of the fact that I've got the logins there. Hopefully I haven't revealed too many secrets. Apologies to Blair if we have. Right, any thoughts on Instagram?
There was just one thing about the website I wanted to mention. Normally, when you first log in, after a few seconds, there's a pop-up inviting you to sign up for the newsletter, just like pretty much Net-a-Porter, but there's no offer on discount or free shipping or things like that. And also, it's one thing that Blair knows already is that the sign-up form for the newsletter should also include the first name of the person signing up, so that the newsletter can be tailored better and it gets more personal when people see their name and being referred, hey, Judy, this is the newest newsletter for this month, kind of thing.
And as you can see from all the research with the other websites that we've looked at, if most of the traffic is coming from search, often because it's a well-known brand, the second most popular way for people to go to that website is because they've received an email. They're a subscriber and they've clicked on the link in the email and then gone straight onto the website to be able to have a look at that special offer. And then because you've personalized that message, as Alberto says, you're then able to make them purchase, because you're not having to persuade them that you're a good product, you're a good company. They've already bought into who you are, because they wouldn't do that unless they hand over the emails, which is why when we do social media, you cannot do social media without any kind of email marketing, because email marketing is ultimately where a lot of your sales will come from. Awesome. Blair says he's got the pen and paper more than out, whatever that means. Okay, quickly moving on to the Instagram, which I think is absolutely beautifully branded, even if I say so myself. Got a gorgeous kind of look and feel, where you've got a nice mix of products that are being sold, plus inspirational comments about Scotland and business. Oh, and here's some of the team. There's Petra. Wow. And here's all the new supplier information. Here's some pictures of Scotland, and then all the products as well. Absolutely gorgeous looking. And you've got the little brand on it, the nice kind of colors experience. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10, that's for sure. And then of course, again, we're beating, I would say, the Net-a-Porter experience with the highlights, because they're beautifully branded, very, very clear as well. And of course, a good use, I would imagine, of the stories. Any final thoughts before we wrap up today, because we've run already out of time? Last minutes from each person.
I think both websites are really interesting, and what connects them, in case people were wondering, is the fact that they don't sell their own products. They're like hubs of other brands, and I think in order to do that well, you have to have strong branding. And I think both websites are very good, and businesses have their strong branding and they're very good at that.
Excellent summary. Thanks for that, Emily.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the last reel that was uploaded by Amaazin.Scot, which was very successful. It got almost 2,000 views, and it was just uploaded this morning. So that was a very interesting experiment.
Nice. See, this is why reels are an absolute no-brainer. Every time you do any of the reels, you normally get a much bigger reach than a normal one. But anyway, when it comes to Instagram carousel posts, reels, IGTV, guides, anything that's moving, any kind of animation is always going to stop the scroll better than anything. All right, any last final thoughts before we wrap up for today? We all good? We're all happy? We're okay. What was the engagement rate on this then, Petra? Oops. Yes, go for it, Alberto.
It's 3.01%, so just
Yes.
above the threshold.
Fantastic. Yet again, we are smashing the stats of Net-a-Porter. So this is an example of how, even if you're a small brand, if you get the fundamental elements of social media right, you can actually kick the arse off of the mega brands, because you understand how to use different platforms better. Ooh, she said that. Okay, so on that note, thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. What are we covering next week, guys?
Is it the groceries week? GMLs and Waitrose.
There you go. It's groceries week. Okay, so we'll get our research tools out, and we should be examining under the bonnet of the groceries sector as we all start moving out of lockdown. All right, thank you very much on behalf of Petra, Miss Emily, Miss Amy, and Mr. Alberto, and me, Finn Wycherley, and see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye. Ooh. That was good.
That was fine, eh?
Half an hour, I don't know, seemed a little
I think
bit.
it's